Hello, my name is Shawn Bradbury. I just want to take a few minutes to introduce myself and give you a little background to who I am and the journey it took to get me to where I'm at right now. I'm a single dad, a single parent to an amazing 17-year-old daughter, and I'm also a life coach. Most of my time growing up, looking back and reflecting on everything, I was definitely a people pleaser, looked outside myself for answers, never wanted to ruffle any feathers, always agreeable, always kind of the person to be in there to, end conflict. I just didn't like conflict, didn't like confrontation. And so a lot of my life, and it was a lot of low self-esteem and just a lot of doubt and a lack of trust in myself. And that just carried itself through my 20s, 30s, even into my 40s. And it was reflected in the jobs I had, which I didn't really love. It reflected in relationships that were not very good, not very healthy. Even through my marriage, it ended in divorce and the two subsequent relationships after that. And I'm 57 now, and the change kind of started when I was 50, when I took like my first Tony Robbins course, Core 100. I've always been fascinated um, with growth and personal development. I just never, I just dabbled in it throughout my lifetime and never really took to it. I'm really, truly, to this point, not sure why. I think I just wasn't ready for it. And I have to be fine with that, right? Where we are is where we are. Yesterday is yesterday, and we just have to be here. So with that, after my divorce, and like I said, two other relationships, the last one, I just came to a point where I just realized things have not changed. It's like I've been on this hamster wheel of the universe and life just sending me the same message over and over again, the same lessons over and over again. And nothing was happening. Everything was just stagnant, status quo, and the same. So I had started working on myself, but then this one morning came where I'm just like, I call it the hard stop. And I just said, something's going to change. We just cannot keep doing the same things that we're doing. So I think one of the things I truly want to share is how do we get unstuck from all of these past habits, all of these mindsets that we created, that we inherited from other people that aren't even ours, and yet we've lived with for years, and even possibly even decades. So what I would say to that is what I needed to do is to stop and really go inward because I was always outward. I was always looking outside myself for the answers. I finally had to go inward and realize who am I? What do I stand for? What are my values? What are my non-negotiables, which I negotiated throughout my life? I never looked at a situation holistically and as in like what are the benefits and what are the things that are not good for me in this situation, this relationship and such. So I had to do that. I had to take an inventory of who I was talking to. What were the conversations I was having? Where was I placing myself? I had to like stop watching TV, stop binge watching things that just were easily distractions that we all deal with every day. So slowly I started to do these things. And it meant setting boundaries. And my boundaries were horrific growing up. Once again, not wanting any confrontation, wanting to people please. I needed I needed to set some boundaries and be okay with what those boundaries might bring. Discomfort to other people, possibly. So I learned a lot about boundaries. I learned to start setting things really small. And from there, I just had to start making some hard decisions. And one of those decisions was ending the relationship and moving out with just my daughter and I and focusing solely on myself and solely on my daughter. And that has been the best thing I could have ever done for myself. In the past, I had a hard time being alone with myself, enjoying my own company. And I guess I was kind of lost. I know it seems like a silly thing to say for decades that, but it's understandable looking back as to where I was. So I think one of the main things I would love to share with people is the hard conversations are uncomfortable, and there's a reason for that. The unknown, you're not going to find comfort in the unknown, but that's the only way you're going to grow. And as you continue to grow, you're going to find the next level, the next level. And I've heard it referred to as new level, new devil. Whereas you come to this level and you found the courage and the boldness to get through it. Well, now it's kind of become a part of who you are, but now the next level is going to challenge you as well. But that's growth. That's growth. And without that, it's just you're going to have a fixed mindset. You're just going to say it's going to stay status quo. And some people are very happy to be in the status quo, and I am not. I don't. That's not where I want to be. That's not who I want people to see me as. That's definitely not what I want my daughter to see me. We need to put ourselves first. We need to fill our own cups first before we can fill anyone else's. And that's not selfish, it's selfless. That's got a bad rap over the years. So that's kind of where it's brought me to today, being a life coach. And my mission is to serve the person I used to be. So my mission statement is that I empower middle-aged single fathers to trust themselves, identify their true priorities. By putting their needs first and setting healthy boundaries, they can build amazing relationships and live authentically, free of guilt. So as I said, I look to serve the person that I used to be. Currently, I just set up a community, a private community for men. It's about empowering, I just want to do the caveat, it's about empowering the man who just happens to be a father. So it's empowering the father to be the best version of himself, to be the most authentic version of himself. And that way, it's a trickle down theory, and you're just the best version of you. You're seen as the world is you. You're accepted as you are as you, and you're rejected as you are as you. So that's what I'm doing right now. So I built this community because community is huge to me. Community has been such a help for me to be where I am now. And I built that as a safe space, as a trusting space to build trust and just to communicate with people, with men especially, middle-aged men especially, to support them and just lift everybody. I believe in the power of proximity. I believe in the power of masterminds of the collective. And I just want, if you're watching this, it's never too late to start over again. Because the thing I don't want to happen at the end of my life is to think what would have happened if I had found the courage and the willingness just to move forward and be my authentic self. So I appreciate your time. Thank you so much. Take care.